Yeah.
I can confirm you're live on YouTube.
Thank you, and thank you for attending today's Kingsland Area Committee meeting. I will now conduct a roll call to check who's present at the meeting. When I call out your name, could you please switch your microphone on and confirm your attendance? Councillor Bone.
Present.
Councillor Collop.
Present.
We've had apologies from Councillor Colwell. Councillor Everett.
Present.
Councillor Hennigan.
Present.
Councillor Jones.
Present.
Councillor Joyce.
Present.
And Councillor Kemp.
Present.
We've had apologies from Councillor Lowe and Councillor Rust. Councillor Sayers.
Present.
Thank you. And Councillor Ware. Thank you. Can I please invite nominations for chair for the municipal year?
I propose Steve Everett.
Yeah, we got.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Everett. Was that? Did you want to move up here?
Thank you. Now, can I ask for nominations for vice chair, please?
I nominate Ben Jones.
Any other nominations?
I second. Jones.
All those in favour? Cool. Any against? No. Thank you. Okay, so now on to item number 4, minutes of the previous meet. Item 3, sorry, apologies for absence. We've got Councillor Joe Rust, Councillor Josh Lowe and Councillor Colwell. Any other apologies from the floor? Cool, thank you. Next one, item 4, again, minutes of previous meetings. Can the committee confirm if the meetings of the previous meeting held on the 20th of May are a correct record? Correction, 20th of March.
Agreed.
Great.
Thank you. Any members have any declarations of interest? Councillor Camp?
Yes, I'm a member of the Youth Advisory Board and there's an item regarding that, thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Camp. Any other declarations of interest? Thank you. Item 6, urgent business. I have none. Item 7, members present under Standing Order 34. None. Chair's correspondence. I have none. Okay, so item number 9, the Youth Advisory Board. Presentation on importance of accessible play equipment. Over to you.
Hello, today we will be talking to you about our disability campaign. Today speaking will be Leon, Cheyenne, Maddie and Riley.
Next slide.
Our vision is for all play areas to be accessible and inclusive for all children and family members, no matter their ability or disability. It is important that this is about the whole family, no matter what ability or disability individual family members have. Making the play area somewhere where families want to go has all sorts of other benefits, and it's not just about physical activity, but it's time spent together as families.
Next slide.
3 years ago, young commissioners from West Norfolk Youth Advisory Board became aware that young people and children had difficulty in safely accessing play areas. They heard of a personal story where a grandmother in a wheelchair accompanying her able-bodied granddaughter became stuck in wood chippings and it took 3 men to free the wheelchair. And the youth commissioners became aware that play area equipment was not being looked after and in some areas was unsafe.
Next slide.
We wanted to make a difference and raise awareness. Our inspiration was a wonderful lady called Mariam, who raised a few funds for the first accessible and inclusive play areas in the UK. She is the lady sitting on the bench in the middle. She was inspired to act when she asked the lady at a conference who had 3 children whether she was looking forward to school holidays. She was dreading it as one of her daughters was autistic and it was nowhere she could go with her 3 children and play safely, except their own back garden. We went to visit Miriam in Essex in 2022 to find out more about the parks to fall. So hard to get built. Whilst they was met with members from the local council and play park professionals, but most importantly we met the lovely Miriam.
Next slide.
Miriam spoke about fencing, gate locks, and sound as families with children who had hidden disabilities could use this park. These 3 interactive play activities are examples of that diversity. The Make It Rain panel, ball bearings fall through this toy as the circle revolves and make sounds like rain. It was one of the most used items. The spiral musical chime bars. You strike the bar with the beaters to make music. It works best with more than one player. And signage. And it is important to consider signage and how this can include those who are non-verbal or who have sight problems. These examples show how pictures and textures can work well with the written instruction.
Next slide.
Why is the campaign important? Play is critical for part of the development of children and young people. The evidence is very clear, and the experience of COVID underscored that. It is the foundation of life. This slide makes clear that science has shown the benefits of play for mental and physical health and development. The question is, does everyone take it seriously as it needs to be? Has the word play become misunderstood or undervalued?
Next slide.
It provides a sense of well-being, improved learning, friendship, confidence, improved quality family time, develops creativity, fosters social inclusion, and improves health, mental and physical. 11% of all children are registered disabled in 2022. That is a rise from 5% in 2010. Mobility impairment is the largest percent of registered disability, but disability comes in many different forms, some visible and some not. This can include intellectual disability, visual or hearing disability, autism and ADHD. Practical accessibility issues, stigma and the need to carefully manage energy levels and pain are all barriers to socialising and participation.
Next slide, please.
The importance of play and our campaign is supported in law. Our campaign is more than wishful thinking. We believe it is right in law. Our campaign is backed up by the UN on the rights of our children as shown on this slide. The duty of local authorities and other services provide to advance equality of opportunity for disabled people for the people around the playground. Best practice is set out in British and Europe standards.
Next slide.
In the autumn of 2023, we went to an inclusive and accessible play area in Colchester to continue our research and to film our campaign video. In February of 2024, our campaign was launched with an event at Barnum Broom.
Next slide, which is video.
Thank you, Lauren. The sound's not working. Could you move on, please?
This is what good looks like. As you can see, this about children of all abilities playing all together.
Next slide.
We were invited to meet with councillors from Watton Town Council who asked for our advice on the refurbishment of the Lovell Gardens play area. They acted on that advice and changed what had been planned and have made it more accessible with some inclusive equipment. We were invited to the opening of the play area. The photograph shows the Mayor of Watton signing the pledge with Alana, one of the campaign team. Alana was also invited to paint the Everyone Has the Right to Play logo on the graffiti wall, which was another idea of ours. It has been a great success, and if you drive through Watton, you'll see many more people using the play area than they ever did before.
Next slide, please.
These are some of the activities, but not all since that launch. We presented to the council and talked to the MPs, even presented to the play parks officers of Yarmouth, and given advice to Hanson's council. They have also been the voice of the Play England strategy work, and recently Norwich and Yarmouth Yabs have launched their part of the campaign, with Norwich securing and open access even at homes of Commons in June.
Next slide, please.
Our action plan has just been launched. This has developed over the last 12 months. The campaign is focused on making play areas accessible and inclusive, but play should take place in many different environments and different times and places. Thus, having been introduced to the play sufficiency, we are now great supporters of promoting that ideal, and we believe that even without legislation, there is much that councils can do to provide the play sufficiency. We have read about the approach taken by Leeds City Council and hope to visit them to see how they are getting on. We have learned that when we have the opportunity to talk to an organisation or to a council, then they not only listen but act. Often it is about pointing out the simple and obvious and having the conversation start change.
Next slide, please.
During the strategy work for Play England, we became aware that play sufficiency legislation is in place in Wales and Scotland, but not England. Leeds City Council have adopted play sufficiency as a demonstrator city, and we hope to visit Leeds later this year.
The most
Slide, please.
commonly asked question is, does it cost more? There is a strong view that both accessibility and inclusive play equipment are more expensive. It can be, but that is not always the case. And working with designers who have great knowledge of building play areas such as Jupiter, Wicksteed and Hags, they will provide options to work within existing budgets. It would be great if there was unlimited money, but we know the pressure council budgets are under. Compromise will be required. Plan for incremental change when refurbishing an existing play park, and when building a new one, design and plan to expand and improve over time. If you can do only one, then start with accessibility. If you can only buy and install one piece of inclusive equipment, make it the coolest so everyone will want to play on it. Have a strategy over 5 years that shows the change and growth of the play park. Involve the community and encourage a united approach to raise additional funds.
Next slide.
This slide shows what we believe are the national outcomes in our action plan.
Next slide.
We have identified a number of outcomes at local level we think can be achieved, many at no cost. This slide shows the local to Norfolk outcomes we are looking to achieve with your help. For instance, encourage all councils at levels to conduct a review of all play areas in Norfolk using the Let's Play Fair question set. County and district councils to consider adopting a play sufficiency action plan similar to the Leeds model. Change local play, county, district, town and parish councils to ensure that all new play parks and all refurbishments are to include play equipment and be accessible to all by design using the design pillars for accessible and inclusive play in their building design code. Councils to require Section 106 funding for new and refurbishment play area projects to be conditional on demonstrating inclusive design, and councils are to make the UN International Right to Play Day, the 11th of June, a meaningful calendar event for 2025 and beyond.
Next slide, please.
This slide shows what we are doing and what we will be doing. We are seeking champions like you to help us with the campaign. We have seen that when we have platforms to present our campaign, that people do hear what we have to say and take action. And often they reflect that what we have to say makes so much sense. So getting us the access to talk with stakeholders is critical to success. We are in this for the long term. We are confident that change will be made. And as you have seen, much of this is about change in policy and change in a mindset. Although it was West Norfolk and Breckingham who started this campaign, it is now in the action plan for all Norfolk Yabs.
Next slide, please.
On the left is our pledge, and on the right is our recommended design pillars. You'll find these in your packs or on the website.
Next slide, please.
What you may wish to consider. Explore what adoption of play sufficiency might mean for you. Include an affirmative statement in your play area and community amenity policy that all play park projects and refurbishments to have inclusion and accessibility by design. Use that policy as evidence in applications for grants and Sections 106 funding. Approach a play park company with track record in accessible and inclusive parks to advise planning such as Jupiter, Wicksteed, or Hags. Ensure whoever you decide to undertake the refurbishment use the design pillars as a foundation. Consider a step approach over a period of time. Have the plan ready and build when funds are available. Start with accessibility. Consider quick win options such as sensory planting, inclusive signage, refurbishment to include a short-term plan to make them made accessible to all and longer-term plan to make the equipment inclusive. Establish a play forum to work in partnership with key stakeholders, include young people on the forum, support our campaign and sign the pledge to make parks inclusive and accessible for all.
Next slide.
Thank you for inviting us to speak to you about our campaign.
Everyone has the right to play.
Thank you very much for that presentation. It's really, really good presentation. So I'm going to echo the members in the chamber agree with me on that one as well. Thank you. So now do any members of the committee have any questions and comments? I've got Councillor Bowman first.
Thank you, Chair. You talk of change, and I have much faith with you, the likely politicians of the future, that you will develop that change that is needed. There's another inspirational presentation that you've provided for us. Thank you very much for that. We have took steps to actually do this before from your last term. We did put quite a bit of work in. Unfortunately, it's not, as you say, it's not just about the equipment, it's about providing the safety things, and we had to look back and go back, and I'm sure that this committee and the rest of the council do realise how important this is, and we will push forward for an inclusive play area. I believe we intended it to be in the walks because it's the most central thing. So we have listened to you, and we will work our hardest and to get the funding for you to make that a reality. Yeah.
Something I've seen in my local parks is the fact that there's a lot of, you know, like skate rinks, like where skateboards and scooters go around, yeah. It's covered in fiberglass, so when kids like go up there to sit up it, they'll come back down and they'll be itching all over because they've got fiberglass all over them. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Probably be best Claire, the outside. Any comments on that?
I thank you. Fantastic presentation, and really good to see that you're pushing and advocating again for accessible play. I think in terms of skate parks, that actually comes under my colleague who deals with play areas and other stuff. But it's certainly something that obviously we can look into. All your comments are really valid and really good to know what's coming, you know, from you as users of the park. So I will put that forward. Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Kemp, please.
Yes, thank you for that presentation and for your confidence and knowing what you know we as councillors should do, because we haven't been doing this. We have been looking at new play equipment. We had a new play area in South Lynn, but we didn't think about disability access. So this is really, really good for you to bring this to our attention. And I think that it's a really good idea for us to set up a review of all of the play areas in the town, because there are sources of funding. There's something called SIL money, Community Infrastructure Levy. And in South Lynn, in the ward that Charles and I represent, last week we set up a parent-teacher association in the school, and they're going to be raising funds. So I think they're going to be really interested in this. So Emily Booth, who's the chair, and all the others, I think are going to be really, really keen to work with you all on this. So thanks very, very much.
Thank you, Councillor Kemp. Councillor Sayers.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you guys for that wonderful presentation. Really following on from what Councillor Kemp there has said, last year Scope did an assessment of all of the play equipment nationally, and they've published a map of accessible play equipment, and unfortunately West Norfolk does not feature anywhere on that map for accessible play equipment. So my request would be that we make our own assessment of our play equipment, identify which ones are lacking, which ones are exemplifying, and really publicise which ones are really good, so that those that need the accessible play equipment can be identified and used by those that need it, and those that are obviously lacking, that we can prioritise those for future improvements, or make requests of county that those that are owned by the county are improved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Sayers. Councillor Jones.
Thank you for the presentation. That was really good. Obviously, you know, a lot of work has been done in North Lynn with RISE. Active Norfolk are working quite closely with RISE, but we could look at the whole town as a whole. So I will bring that up at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Yep, Riley.
Something that I was going to mention is that we do have a park survey as a YAB. So what as a young commissioner we do is like we go around parks to see if they're like safety, if they're accessible for disabilities, people and stuff like that. So yeah, check out the survey. It's on the app.
Thank you. Any other members wishing to speak? Nope. Okay. Thanks again for the presentation. Really good. Thank you. And if you want to stay, feel free. Or if you need to go anywhere, you can go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, item 10, memberships of the planning subgroup and play areas informal working group for 2024, 2025, 2026. You're testing me now, aren't you? So we need to confirm that the planning subgroup, if the committee wants the planning subgroup to continue to operate, and we need to confirm membership of the group for the forthcoming municipal year. So currently on the planning subgroup, we've got Councillor Collop, Councillor Jones, Councillor Ware, and currently two substitutes, Councillor Hennigan and Councillor Bone. I'm aware Councillor Bone now can't be on it because you're on planning committee. So anyone else do the existing members want to stay on the subgroup? Perfect. Thank you. And we need, yeah. And we need two new substitutes. So Councillor Hennigan, do you want to stay on as a substitute? We need one more. Any takers? Go on, Charles.
I would actually, Councillor Joyce probably wouldn't appreciate me doing this, but Councillor Joyce's vast knowledge of plan and policy would actually make him a real credit for this. And obviously, it's important times we need to reflect on the fact that this committee will eventually evolve into a town council, and the town council might have more authority on on future planning applications. And although Councillor Joyce is probably glaring at me now, thinking it's not that, I would highly recommend that he would actually be part of that subcommittee, even as a substitute.
I do recognise when I'm being ganged up on.
So is that a yes then, Councillor Joyce?
It would appear I've been told to.
Thank you, Councillor Joyce. And the membership of the play areas informal working group be sought and confirmed by the committee for the forthcoming municipal year. Current membership, Councillor Bone, Councillor Colwell and Councillor Rust. Councillor Rust has confirmed she'd like to continue to be a member, so Councillor Bone, do you want to continue on that one?
I'm happy to continue on that role. I would like to see us be a bit more proactive in this year, especially following the actual presentation from the Youth Advisory Board. There are some play areas that largely need attention in this town. So,
anybody else want Councillor Hennigan? Thank you. Yeah, cool. Anybody else? Councillor Kemp? Brilliant. And we will check if Councillor Carwell would like to continue to be on it as well.
If Councillor Caldwell doesn't want to be on it, I'm quite happy to do it as well.
Cool. And we got the backup in case. Brilliant. Excellent. Okay, so item number 11 now, please, which is the local plan. So if I can have Officers Burton and Anthony to present, please.
Hi. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We've done this presentation of a variation on it at various different forums, but we're here to present to the area committee the new local plan, which was adopted on 27th of March. So it's and this it is for the record. There are printed copies and. And now there are a number of printed copies which members may wish to take away. So and come up to our part of the office on the 3rd floor to collect. Okay, so next slide, please. Right, I'm just going to take you quickly through the wider sort of framework that has informed the local plan. It provides the current government policy and is material consideration for decision making. Now, incidentally, the current national planning policy framework was adopted in December and then updated with a few tweaks in February. But the local plan itself was actually produced under an earlier iteration. That was the July 2021 version. Government policy updates fairly frequently nowadays. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm just going to take you through some of the headlines as to what's in the new local plan. It will guide development for the next 15 years up to 2040, and it sets out the spatial strategy for the borough. That is what goes where, when, and how. Obviously, for this purposes, we're focusing on King's Lynn. The plan itself focuses on King's Lynn as it's the main sub-regional centre. And within King's Lynn, there's 49% of the planned growth and around about 30% of the actual estimated growth. The difference being that the planned growth is sites that are specifically allocated, while the estimated growth includes windfalls, which by their nature are generally unknown. So the plan does include indicative growth figures for individual settlements and parishes. So it's quite an extensive table under policy LPO1 with that information. And it also, which I believe may be of interest to this particular committee, it sets out a methodology and approach for setting housing requirements for neighbourhood plans, and that's in policy LP03 and Appendix I. Now, the figure for King's Lynn, which does include West Lynn as well, is quite significant at around about 1,500 if in a circumstance that King's Lynn were to look to produce a neighbourhood plan. Okay. Okay, and excuse me. Okay, next slide, please.
So in terms of what the local plan seeks to do, the local plan aims to guide growth in King's Lynn and West Norfolk until 2040, balancing community needs, economic growth and environmental sustainability. Its vision is to create a place where people want to live, work, invest and visit. Its key objectives include the economy, which covers supporting growth and the construction of infrastructure, The society, which focuses on fostering vibrant communities, providing housing, accessible services and tackling inequalities. The environment, including protecting our natural and historical assets, encouraging sustainable transport and addressing climate challenges. And our places, which promote sustainable growth in our towns and key rural areas. Next slide, please.
Thank you. Okay, now some members may be familiar with this slide. It provides a summary of the information that Henry's just given us. The distribution of housing growth is for Kings Lynn, at any rate, there's 2,462 houses proposed out within Kings Lynn out of 5,044 across the borough. Similarly, for the total growth in Kings Lynn within by 2040 would be 3,759 out of 12,438, which is the 30% I mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. Okay, this new policy, when LPO2 is an entirely new policy. It's if you like, it's a more flexible approach to delivering and securing windfall development, to which I've already mentioned there's quite a significant proportion of the growth. There's a recognition that around 41% will come forward on the allocated sites, and that's obviously the planned growth. And but this new policy, this new windfall policy, allows development beyond the defined development boundaries in certain circumstances. And in the case of Kings Lynn, that could be up to 100 dwellings. But obviously, it's got to meet all the criteria to be acceptable. Similarly, for West Lynn, which is classed as or West Winch, both which are classed, or North or South Wood, which are all classed as settlements adjacent to Kings Lynn. The figure is 25 dwellings. Thank you. Next slide, please. Another new policy is climate change, and that's LPO6. This focuses on how the borough, through the planning system, could respond to the challenges of climate change. I mean, we have legal obligations, i.e. the net zero by 2050, and that's a matter that the government has signed up to. And I think the other quite key point about this, it does include additional validation requirements, and namely in the form of this sustainability and climate change statement. So it's some sort of potential significant changes to how we determine planning applications. Next slide, please.
So concerning Kings Lynn policies from the new local plan, as recognised in LP40, Kings Lynn is the borough's main town and a sub-regional centre. The local plan supports its growth and regeneration with the development of at least 4,430 new homes, with urban expansion and 3,000 new jobs planned to be created. It is important that Kings Lynn's historic environment is preserved, and this is a priority in the plan alongside urban regeneration. The plan also aims to maintain the town's general hospital through strategic partnerships and developments. Several key policies are included within the plan, including riverfront regeneration, town centre development, development in the port area, and development in the Gaywood Clock District Centre. Next slide, please. Additionally, there are also policies concerning the Bold Quay as a mixed-use regeneration project. There is also development planned within the South of Parkway, Lynn's Port, South Quay, Columbia Way, Wisbeach Road, and this is included as part of the plan's policies for the development of new homes with environmental safeguards, sustainable drainage and heritage conservation. Alongside this is also included in employment land allocations with sites at Hardwick, Saddlebow and Estuary Road, which are designated for business and industrial growth. Next slide, please.
Thank you. Okay, well, I'm just going to sort of take you to the policies map here. I mean, this shows the first picture shows the six housing site allocations within the existing urban area, and that would deliver a total of 432 homes. Plus, in addition, there are 3 employment land allocations, as Henry's already mentioned, which would total 53 hectares. So that's the Kings Lynn is very much the focus for growth. I say, and perhaps next slide, please. Most significantly, which most members are probably well aware, the West Winch growth area is allocated for 4,000 dwellings, of which just over 2,000 are expected to come forward within the planned period, so over the next 15 years. I mean, the first phase of development at West Winch was approved, signed off on Friday. That's literally this Friday, 16th of May. So, and that's a very significant chunk of the area. It's 1,000, I think, just over 1,100 dwellings, and obviously and associated infrastructure. So that's a very, very significant step in bringing this site forward. Next slide, please. Okay, well, I think perhaps picking up from the earlier parts of our presentation, the local plan is the main starting point for decision making, and it's about providing clarity and consistency in decision making. I mean, in addition to the local plan, consideration also has to be given to made neighbourhood plans, and of which there are several that kind of cover parts of the town. Those includes neighbourhood plans for West Winch, North Runcton, North Wootton and South Wootton. So neighbourhood planning is very popular, and I know members will be aware that I've previously done a more detailed presentation on that topic to this committee. And I think, for example, on the case of West Winch, the growth area, both the local plan and the West Winch and North Runcton neighbourhood plan contain very detailed policies to guide and direct how that site's to be developed. So overall, the local plan provides a strategic policy framework including for preparation of neighbourhood plans as well as for decision making. And thank you. And next slide, please. Just a quick word on the policies map. Members again may be familiar with this slide that we've used in earlier presentations. It's just to give you an illustration of how the policies map appears. It's available for all to use. It allows you to zoom in to find individual sites, to see where development boundaries, site allocations, constraints such as conservation areas can be viewed. So I mean, it is very useful for checking properties, and we hope that it's a very useful resource for anyone. So next slide, please. And finally, over to the committee. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Councillor Joyce, please.
I have several, but I'll start with this one. In LPO2, you mentioned Kings Lynn and you mentioned adjacent. Can you define Kings Lynn And can you define adjacent?
Yes, we can. We can, sir. Adjacent means development should adjoin the defined development boundaries. It's shown on the policies map. Again, Kings Lynn, as far as the local plan is concerned, this is quite an important point, is not the unparished area of Kings Lynn. So the actual built-up area of Kings Lynn includes parts of North Rumpton, West Winch, South Wootton, and even Castle Rising parishes. I think that's quite an important point to note in actual fact. So, and as I say, as I mentioned previously, many of those have already got their own neighbourhood plans to, help give an additional steer in managing development.
To clarify that answer, are you saying the unparished area of Kings Lynn in its entirety, plus areas of Southwood and West Winch and wherever?
It's I think if you look closely at the interactive policies map, obviously we can't give a demonstration now, but yeah, if you use you'll note that in actual fact there are separate development boundaries for Kings Lynn urban area, and then separate boundaries for West Winch, North and South Wootton as well. You'll note that they are actually separate. So there is a clear definition.
It's a very simple question. Do you include all of the unparished area of Kings Lynn as defined in your definition of Kings Lynn? It's all the unparished area plus your other bits.
Yeah, the answer to that would be no, because certainly the southern part of Kings Lynn would be regarded as open countryside that extends towards Saddlebow. But the bulk of it is the urban area. It's more. I think the important point here is not about the parish boundaries. It's about the zones, if you like, the spatial area. I think that's the key point, and that's one of the tricky things that you have to be mindful of.
Councillor Jones next, and then I've got Councillor. Oh, sorry. Councillor Bone first, and then Councillor Kemp.
I have a similar query to Councillor Joyce, to be fair. Obviously, there is a proposal that there will be in new town council, which will be the unparished areas of Kings Lynn, which doesn't include Southwood and West Winch or North Rumpton. So that again, that would be the. I'm a little bit concerned. Obviously, I'm a little bit away from this, have been for a while, but the actual. The definition of being able to develop outside the existing development boundaries, and obviously he's concerned that could create an urban sprawl. That's normally been something within the planning consideration, that we've took extra care to make sure the development happens within the boundary of that, to prevent that urban sprawl and that. So am I right to say that future development proposals will be allowed to breach existing boundaries? Is that what you're saying? It's really important I know.
Potentially, yes. However, and this in practical terms, it doesn't kind of allow any development. It doesn't allow, for example, 100 and then another 100 expanding further and further outwards. I think in practical terms, and I look at the interactive policies map and put on constraints mapping as well, there is actually not a great deal of scope to expand Kings Lynn urban area anyway, other than that's already planned that's already being developed to the north at South Wootton, and also of course West Winch, and that's kind of why those are the focal points of growth, because in practice Other potential locations are very constrained. That's the practical reality. I mean, at the end of the day, any development has to meet all policies in the plan as a whole. LPO2 is just one of many considerations.
Thank you, and I think it's actually happened. We've witnessed that. Kings Lynn itself is now a small city, if you include the adjacent parishes which are linked and irrespectively like connected. But technically, they should be parishes and areas of their own right. But no, thank you for your. It is important, but I do have a good understanding of this going forward.
Thank you, Councillor Kemp now, please.
Thank you, Chair. Regarding the Kings Lynn Town Centre Development Policy 1.1, I went to the local plan hearings and the inspectors recommended that the West Lynn Ferry should be included in the local plan. Can you confirm whether that's the case?
Stoke Ferry, but yes, bear with me. Here we are, paragraph 8.71 to 8.72. Yeah, and a short walk away from the regular pass, and we are, of course, aware that it's been suspended, the allocated site. So it does kind of recognise that the ferry is an important piece of infrastructure. So the plan does reference it, though. I don't believe it's referenced specifically in any policy. The reason being that it was previously referenced in the former Del Monte site policy that's had to be deleted because there's so little certainty about how it could at West Lynn, how it could be delivered. But yes, I mean the plan does recognise that the ferry is an important piece of infrastructure.
Thanks very much for that, because I spoke to Alex Bradley this afternoon and he did say that the ferry was in there, and I'm glad that you've been able to confirm that. Thanks ever so much.
Good, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions on the local plan? Thank you, Councillor Sayers.
Thank you, Chair. It's just a very, very simple one. On the employment areas, just want to know why Naru's Way hasn't been included as a employment area, as it's a borough project for its development.
Good question, sir. It's quite simple, really, because it's a long-standing commitment. It's already consented. The allocated sites relate to sites that are yet to come forward. That's the only reason. I believe that it is referenced in the supporting text for Kings Lynn. It is referenced as being an important development, but the simple reason is because the plan's looking forward, and the Naru's regeneration area is a long-standing commitment that long predates this plan and indeed its predecessors.
Can I follow up by countering that logic? Because you've got on the land allocations projects that are already underway.
Yes.
So you've got one logic saying it shouldn't be included because it's already assigned, where you've got land allocations where those projects are already in place, completed in some cases.
Correct. There were the earlier iteration of the plan did include a lot more allocations, which were struck out at the direction of the inspectors. It was kind of there was a situation whereby a decision had to be made as to whether or not an allocation had kind of reached a tipping point, that it's such that it continuing to retain it in the local plan served little purpose. I mean, it was kind of an agreement between ourselves as the Borough Council and the Planning Inspectorate, but we have struck out around about half of the allocations that were previously shown in the plan. But I do totally take your point about Nora, but I think the reality is that it wasn't included in the previous local plan either, for the same reason, because it was already a long-standing major commitment.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you very much for the presentation there. I don't have any questions already because I think I've asked them at previous meetings anyway. So, right. So item 12, committee is asked to consider items for a future work programme.
Chair.
Oh, Councillor Hennigan.
Yeah, I'm just looking at next month's, the 19th of June. Are all those items going to be on the agenda for that meeting? I mean, they're all quite weighty items, and I'm worried that we're not going to have the time to actually give the time. We're not going to be able to give it the. I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought. To give it the thought that it needs and the discussion that I think it's going to need, because I mean they are going to affect sort of all of our wards as well, and yeah.
So what we can do at our next SIFT meeting, we'll discuss with the officers how long the presentation is going to be and the discussions we think might happen. So we can always move. So the parish partnership reminder won't take long. It's just a reminder to you all. But the King's Lynn Town Council, we could potentially move to the September one. Obviously the neighbourhood board and the car parking strategy and the King's Lynn master plan are all the same officers. So it would be good for them all to be at the same time, for officer time and resource and things like that. So those three could potentially all be as one meeting, and then we could look to move the others as well. But we can discuss with the officers and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Sayers.
Thank you, Chair. I think we need to have a look at our terms of reference, particularly in advance of any town council that we might be looking at. Are we committed to decide things as a town council, for a town council, potential town council, when it might not be in our terms of reference, that we have that as or something we're authorised to do?
I think I'll take that away and speak to the monitoring officer and legal about that process. But you're right, that I think there's probably some review that's required there given LGR. But I don't have an answer for you tonight, I'm afraid.
Is it worth, because there's an item on the next thing about the town council anyway, so I don't know if it's worth come back to us at sifting, and then we can have a look at it on ready for June.
You've got the officers attending sifting for that meeting, so we can discuss it then and look at the terms of reference and speak to the monitoring officer before the next sifting meeting.
Cool. Okay. Any other comments from members? Okay. So next one on here is we are looking to arrange a date and time for King's Lynn Fire Station visit. Notice there's been a lot of emails going back and forth about it. So I think the conclusion that we've come to is the 10th of July.
Can we just agree that?
Can we all agree the 10th of July? Haven't got time to be arranged.
So it's entirely up to you what time. If you'd like it a similar time to when we have these meetings, the only thing we need to consider is they do change shifts at 6 o'clock. So if we perhaps were going to, we could do it a bit earlier, so we're not affecting their changeover. So it's entirely up to you, kind of how long you would like, and I can organise it. But I know some of you have commitments during the day, so it's up to you what time. I can speak to them.
You can bring your own.
They do have this.
BYOB, bring your own biscuits.
So yeah, just if there's any recommendations.
Any recommendations for times?
4 o'clock, Chair, is that too early for other people?
Is 4 o'clock okay? Any 4 PM? Any alternative recommendations, councillor Sayers?
Could we make it, if you want me to attend, I would need it to be a little bit later. 4:30, 4:45, that kind of time.
4:30?
Yeah, just put that, sorry, just put someone to start the discussion on.
4:30, everyone?
Yeah, nothing.
Cool. Councillor Hennigan?
Blighted.
You sure? Yeah, 4:30 is okay, so I think we'll agree 4:30 on the 10th of July, cool. Right, so it's just to let you know, the date of the next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, 19th of June at 5:15 PM in this hall. Thank you. Meeting closed. 5:15.